Hey guys, this is me, Jason, once again, with another video, and this is going to be the first of many videos, because I will be reviewing every single one of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Yes, even the mostly crappy 2010 remake. But we're going to start off with the 1984 classic, and then go from there. Okay, well, it's a really great horror movie, and I just love how there's a very gritty, almost home movie feel to the beginning, where they show Freddy making his glove, and then they play that iconic theme song that we all know and love. I love it. I think it's one of the most iconic theme songs of all time, to be honest, especially where horror is concerned. And then it's just really great how they just shows Freddy stalking Tina and, you know, messing with her head, and you're not quite sure what's going on. You know, there's just some creepy man chasing a girl. Why is that happening? And then she wakes up, and then you're like, what's going on? Where was that? What was going on right there? Oh, it's her dream. Okay. New. That's very new, especially if you're watching it for the first time. You're like, what? This is crazy. And then, of course, they've got the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. And, you know, that's very iconic. That's another iconic thing and very creepy thing they got there with the girls with the jump rope and the singing. Very creepy, very ominous. And another thing about Freddy, you don't really ever see him. You don't see him too much. He's in the dark. It's not like the sequels where you see him a lot. He's in the dark. You're kind of like, who is that? You know, you don't quite know. He's just taunting them. He's got blades on his hand and his glove, and you don't really see too much of him. I mean, you see him, but you don't see too much. And he's not really joking around. He does joke around, but it's really darker, and it's kind of like, you're not like, over the top funny, kind of like how they got in the sequels. Even though I love the sequels, don't get me wrong. I love all the cheesy over-the-topness of the sequels. But anyways, Johnny Depp is in this movie. His very first movie ever, which is pretty cool. And then we've got Heather Langenkamp as the hero. She's great as Nancy. One of the most iconic horror movie heroes of all time, if not the '1. Robert Englund is great as Freddy. He's just incredible. He is Freddy Krueger no matter what, and I'll get to Jackie Earle Haley when I review the remake. I'll talk more of a comparison then. I don't really want to get into it, but in my mind, no matter what movie, no matter who they get to play Freddy, it's always going to be Robert Englund. And then later on, you know, the kids are partying, you know, they're all over at Tina's house because she had a bad dream and she doesn't want to be alone, so Johnny Depp's there, Heather Langenkamp is there, and then, you know, the douchebag, Fonzie wannabe Rod shows up and taunts them with the hoe, I guess, and scrapes it along the thing because they all have the same dream, but they don't know that, and so he just thought it would be kind of scary because he thought it was scary in his dream. So that was kind of cool, because you're kind of like, whoa, is Freddy a real person? Is he in a dream? What's going on? What are the rules here? And then I like how Nancy's sleeping in the bed and the crucifix like falls off the wall and she kind of holds it and falls asleep, and then Freddy comes out of the wall, you know, the wall gets all stretchy and he comes out and he's like, argh. And then I like how he goes back into the wall just as Nancy looks up, just as Heather Langenkamp looks up to see what's going on. And I want to compare it to the remake, but I don't want to do that yet because I want to save that for when I review that movie. But it's very awesome, very iconic, another iconic scene. And then you got Tina's second dream in the movie, and Freddy is coming after her again. He can't leave Tina alone. He likes him some blondes, apparently. Or anybody, really. And he's coming down the alleyway, and he's stretching his arms out. It's kind of cheesy. Well, it's 1984, so I mean, it's not going to be CGI or anything. But I thought it was very good for the time. I thought it worked. I thought it was very cool. He stretches his arms out. She can't go nowhere. It's like very cool. Scratching his claws, of course, like he always does. And, you know, just chasing her, terrifying her, stalking her, as Freddy will do. Freddy cutting off his fingers was pretty cool. I mean, it's a very interesting thing. It's just, I like how Freddy just plays with her, was playing with her, you know. Just, that's how Freddy does it. He could kill you right off. He could kill you right off the bat. That's not the point. It's the foreplay, you know, the foreplay, Freddy, it's the lead up to the kill. It's the taunting, it's the terrorizing, it's the stress that Freddy causes you to the point where you're just like, and then get you. And then I like how a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people talk about this, but when he gets Tina, he gets a hold of her, and then she tears the skin off of his face, and you see the skull of Freddy's face. That's pretty creepy. That's kind of gross and disgusting. Tina's death, of course, is another iconic scene. How she gets dragged along the ceiling and gets all cut up, and that was actually, you know, when you see Tina on the ceiling, that's actually the floor, and so everything's reversed. So that's how they did that scene. She's actually on the floor, and she's just acting like she's getting, you know, dragged across the ceiling, and, you know, they just did it like that. So that was really cool. She falls on the bed, and apparently a lot more blood splurted in Rod's face, but I guess the censors didn't want that, so they had to tone it down or change that up a little bit. And then, you know, they go to the police station. You know, none of the adults, you know, they all think it's Rod. They don't believe, you know, there's something crazy, something strange and crazy is going on. They just think it's Rod, you know, because he's apparently not a very trustworthy kid, even though he looks like he's in his 30s, but whatever, or his 20s. Yeah, and then Nancy's Nancy's dad doesn't believe her. He's the stern sheriff, or whatever he is. I think he's the sheriff. He's the stern guy. He don't believe anything. He's just by the book. And the mom's just drunk, pretty much, and she's just like, blah, blah, blah. And it's just crazy how later on in the film, I'm going to skip around a little bit, because hopefully everybody in the world has seen Nightmare on Elm Street by now, so it's definitely a spoiler review. Oh, I mean, you know, if you didn't already know that by now. But, yeah, like how she shows Nancy the glove and be like, we burned him, he can't come and get you because we took care of him, I did it to protect you, blah, 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 no, Mom, you really screwed us. Yeah. And then there's the dream that Nancy has at school where, you know, she falls asleep and then she starts seeing Tina in the body bag all bloody and guts and stuff coming out. And then, you know, she's walking down the hall, and then the hall monitor girl's like, hey, where's your hall pass? And she's like, screw your pass. And then it's like Freddy, you know, she's got Freddy's glove on and Freddy's sweater on. She's like, ha ha ha. And, you know, that was pretty cool. That was pretty creepy to hear Freddy's voice coming out of another person. And, you know, that was kind of unexpected, especially if you're seeing it for the first time. And then Nancy's like ends up in the boiler room. She's running away from Freddy, or she's trying to figure out who Freddy is really. And she's like, it's just a dream. And then she burns herself to wake up, and then she sees that the burn is real, and she's like, holy crap, whatever I do in the dream affects me in real life, so I could potentially die in this dream if I'm not careful. And then she takes the stay awake pills to stay awake, and of course there's the bathtub, the iconic bathtub scene where, you know, Freddy's claws come up between Nancy's legs and you know, drag her underneath the water. That's another iconic scene. And then she takes the pills, and then there's the Evil Dead playing on TV, because apparently there's Freddy's glove in Evil Dead somewhere, and I guess Sam Raimi and Wes Craven had a little back and forth going on, a little competition going on, which is pretty cool. My friend Rudy told me about that on Facebook, which I never knew about that. But then, Nancy falls asleep, trying to get Freddy, or trying to figure out what's going on. She gets stuck on the stairs. Oh, Rod dies. Rod gets choked by the sheet. Freddy chokes him in the jail cell. He's dead. Another kid dies by Freddy, or teenager. Nancy's running away from Freddy. She gets stuck in the stairs. And then Freddy is wearing Tina's face, which I don't think a lot of people talk about either, but it's kind of creepy. It's kind of like almost Devil's Rejects type of stuff, before Devil's Rejects. And then Nancy pulls Freddy's hat out of the dream with her, and she realizes that she could possibly and potentially pull Freddy himself out of the dream. And then she's in her... she gets locked in her house by her mom because her mom wants to keep her safe. So her mom puts all the bars and stuff on the window to keep her, from going anywhere or keep anybody from coming in. And so she has to talk to Johnny Depp on her phone. And she says, "Whatever you do, don't fall asleep." Which is, of course, an iconic line from the film. But what does he do? He does fall asleep. He gets sucked into his bed. All the blood gets shot out of the bed. His mom finds him like, "Oh, what did you do? What did you do? Johnny Depp is dead. I killed Jack Sparrow." And, and then she tries to call over there on the phone. And then, he's like, "I'm your boyfriend now, Tina." And then the tongue on the phone and kissing. That was creepy. That's pretty creepy. I heard Heather Langenkamp actually liked that prop, and she wanted to take it home, which everybody thought was pretty strange. And then Nancy sets up all the deadly Home Alone traps to get Freddy for when she pulls him out of the dream. And then she does pull him out of the dream. And he chases her around the house, of course, and gets hit by some of the booby traps. And she sets Freddy on fire. And then all the cops aren't paying attention. Tina's trying to yell to Nancy rather, is trying to yell to the cops and her dad to come over and help her. But, of course, they're like, "Whoa, what's going on over there? A lot of noise, but we got something else over here to deal with. We got to deal with Johnny Depp's blood everywhere." But no, finally her dad, realizes something's wrong, runs over, they knock the door down. Well, not knock it down, but they open it. And then they both go upstairs to see that Freddy's attacking, or I guess maybe Nancy only sees it. I don't know what the dad actually sees. But Freddy's attacking Nancy's mom, and then they cover her with a blanket, and then Freddy's gone, and then she's just there like a burnt-up corpse, and then creepily and slowly sinks into the bed like she's going to another dimension or something. And then it comes to the ending, which was supposed to be the real ending. There wasn't supposed to be any sort of setup or anything to be like, "Oh, Freddy's still alive." She takes away the power that she gave him by her fear and everything, and she says, "You got no more energy, you're not real, you can't hurt me, basically go away, never come back." And Freddy lunges at her, disappears, and you're like, "Oh, end of the movie." Supposed to be the end of the movie. But then Robert Shea, the former owner of New Line and the producer of this film, wanted, some sequel bait. Something to leave the audience with a little rah, more than just, Freddy disappears and then it's over. So then you get the kids driving away in the Freddy-mobile, and the little girls once again doing the jump rope and the Freddy theme, or not the Freddy theme, but the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And then you're like, okay, well, what the hell? And, where's the kids going? They're gonna die, I guess. And then, Freddy pulls Nancy's mom through the window on the door, and then, poom, gone. And that's how it ends. I mean, to me, this is a classic horror movie. You know, if you don't care to see any of the other sequels, which I suggest you see them because I love them all. But if you don't see any of those, at least see this one. It's a classic horror movie. One of Wes Craven's best films. He created the character, and because it was he was a little boy, and he was looking out his window, and he saw a man down there that kind of looked like Freddy. If you saw Freddy down an alleyway, and I guess the man sensed that he was being watched and turned around and gave young Wes Craven a scary look, and Wes Craven ran away from his window, and then slowly came back to see if the man was still there, and the man was like, "Argh." So he's based off that. Plus, he's called Freddy because I guess there was a boy that picked on Wes when he was a little boy named Fred, who used to pick on him with regularity. And the red and green sweater was supposed to be like an optic illusion because apparently those are the two hardest colors to see side by side or something like that. So he pretty much turned Freddy into an optic illusion, which I think is pretty cool. So there's actually a meaning behind the red and green sweater. It's not just he's wearing a red and green sweater. And then he wanted to give him something kind of animalistic. He wanted to give him a weapon that you'd never seen before, and so he kind of thought of the claws of a bear, and that's how kind of the glove came about. But this video has gone on probably way too long, but I mean, that's understandable. It's probably how all these videos are going to be, so hopefully you'll stay. Hopefully, maybe you won't. Maybe I'm just doing this for no reason at all, other than that I love Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger in general. But thank you guys for watching, and more videos to come. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, definitely going to be coming soon. I don't know how soon, but not too far from this video. Maybe in a couple days or so. So get ready for that, and whatever you do, don't fall asleep.